All right. We are live. What's up, Theo? Could you cover possibly some more Greco techniques and vertical lift, vertical defense, like lift defense? Yes. Favorite food? I love barbecue, Joey. I'm a barbecue aficionado, something I do quite a bit. I actually sell barbecue outside of my gym, couple like once every 2 weeks. So, what's up, Kevin? Um, yeah, I definitely, Theo. I definitely could do some more defense for throws, things like that, and getting lifted. Um, that's a great idea. There's so many ideas. What's up, John? Um, so many ideas. We got like 13, 14 people in here. What's up, guys? Um, it's about time for another live. I know I don't really give you guys much notice, but hey, Sensei Seth. I was just watching one of your videos. What's up, dude? Nice to talk to you or meet you virtually online, I guess. Yeah, so Miguel Perez, yes, I saw his Pac-12 match. I saw the finals match. It's kind of tough. You know, the guy's so good. The guy he wrestled from Oregon State. For those of you guys that don't know, um, one of my wrestlers, Chance, he's been on the channel before. He actually competed at the Pac-12 championships, which are that's the conference for the Pac-12, which is kind of Western United States Division One wrestling. He's been on the channel. He's been a kid that I coached since he was 7 years old. He did jiu-jitsu and wrestling, a little bit of kickboxing, but mostly wrestling. So he wrestles for Cal State University at Bakersfield, and which is a Division One wrestling program. And he made the finals. He ended up taking out. He was the number 4 seed. He needs to be number one, and he ends up taking out the number one guy. Number four. For those that don't know how a bracket works, number one goes against number four. Number two goes against number three in the semifinals, assuming they make it that far. And so that's what happened. And he's going against the number one guy in the semifinal. He ends up taking him out in overtime with a big takedown, puts the guy on his back, and the guy screams and, kind of like got got injured. Either way, we won the match in overtime. So it was a big win for him. He made the finals. He had to wrestle a guy he's lost to a couple times before from Oregon State. And another tight match. It's always a 1 point, 2 point match. And we ended up losing 3-1. The guy took us down, you know. So we both got escapes, and it just came down to that one takedown. We got caught slipping in the first, and the guy stalled a lot, but we couldn't get the takedown. It is what it is. That's the game. You know, like a lot of sports, you just got to know how to play it right, and our opponent played it right. So yeah, thank you, Sensei Seth. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a fan of yours too. I love your videos. Your videos are very entertaining. So I think you do an absolute great job with constructing your videos, putting them together. I can see that you got to do a lot of editing, and you work hard at it. So I'm not working that hard. I'm kind of just get the camera running and just go. So no, not trying to like make it super high quality, but I really appreciate your videos, and I really like them. So, so what's my take? John wants to know what's my take on the Gordon Ryan Andre Galval situation. And well, guys, um, here's my thoughts. I'll just try to do it brief. I'm a pretty nice guy, so I'm not a guy that likes to cause problems or get in fights. But I can understand both guys. I mean, both guys' point of view. However, that night, when it comes to shaking hands at the end of, Craig Jones's match, I think Andre Galval's an asshole for not shaking his hand and flipping him off. There could be something there like cultural that, he was saying, repeating himself. I don't want to shake your hand. This came later backstage. Why would I want to shake your hand? He's saying, why would I want to do that? And, it's wherever he's from, maybe, the shit talking. So now what? You can't have respect. I mean, like, is the shit talking really, really, are you, the way I look at it, are you so low that you can't talk shit to each other? You potentially have a matchup. So I get the shit talking online. I mean, sometimes you do that a little bit. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying I understand it. But when it comes down to it, when you go to a competition and your guy fights, win or lose, you shake your opponent's hand. It's not a big deal. And if coaches come up, you should have the honor and respect. You should be able to put aside for that moment. Maybe you got to compete against this guy later. I think you should be able to put it aside and shake the guy's hand. So him flipping him off and disrespecting him, that's gonna piss Gordon Ryan off. And Gordon Ryan wants to face him, I don't think Gordon Ryan hated on Galval that much. I think that Gordon Ryan wanted to compete against him. Sure, does he want to show that he's the best? Of course he does. I think he had respect for Galval in the beginning, but I think, there's definitely a cultural difference between Americans and Brazilians. So there's something there, and he pissed Gordon off. And then as far as the slap goes, I mean, yeah, there's two arguments. Did Gordon get in his face? Yeah, sort of. But Galval pushed him. I know he's in his face, but still, you pushed him. You might get slapped, bro. I mean, like, I grew up in, guys, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. And if you push somebody, you should expect to get slapped, or at least something. You should expect something. So, we're these guys, I know they're supposed to be good role models. I have a really good friend that was talking about how it's not good for the martial arts. He's not setting a good example for younger children or things like that. I get that, but Gordon Ryan's a fighter, man. I mean, I know he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's a fighter. So he wants to prove he's the best, and that's what his goal in life is right now. So I'm sorry, it's just we're doing big boy stuff, and we're not teaching young kids right now. This is big boy stuff, and you know what? Sometimes you got to get slapped. I mean, what you're going to push somebody, you might get slapped. And as far as Galval not retaliating, even me, I'm such a nice guy, but man, if I get slapped, I think I'm fighting. So I think I'm going to fight at that point. So I don't want to fight, but shit, I'm going to fight. It's just whatever it was. Maybe Galval was like drunk or something. I don't know. Maybe he had too many drinks or something. Something was holding him back. I'm cold. I'm cool. I'm cold as ice. I don't know. I don't know. That just had to have been a rough Monday night at practice for Autos. That's all I can imagine. I just don't even know what that was like, if they're talking about it, whatever. Anyway, I'd love to see him grapple. I don't think we are going to see him grapple, but I wish that people would have more respect for each other, but I understand. Shit got out of hand. What are you going to do? Shit got crazy. It was entertaining. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. So anyway, let's move on. I'm trying to find something useful here. What's your favorite way to get out of a strong full guard? Kevin LaCruz wants to know. If a guy's got a really strong guard, you kind of have to stand up. I mean, it runs the risk of danger of getting swept, but you kind of got to stand up. What you can do, there's kind of a stall tactic that can kind of work, as long as the guy's not way bigger than you, where you basically tuck your elbows in and you just kind of crunch, and you crunch yourself down. Maybe I'll do a video on it sometime. I have a black belt friend. He's been doing it for 15 years to me, and it's pretty effective. And he just kind of closes his elbows in. And he really doesn't even posture. He just stalls in a position. But if you're doing jujitsu, it's kind of hard to if you can't punch the guy in the face. It's kind of hard to do much of anything because he just keeps his elbows in, keeps good pressure, and eventually you just get sick of it and you open your guard. So I could show you that, but really to fight out of a strong full guard when you're trying to posture and the guy's really good with his full guard and his legs are strong, you really can't do it on your knees. You got to stand up. It's the one way to really increase the amount of pressure you put on his legs. And there's lots of ways of details. I can't just show you while I'm talking to you, but um, that's what I would recommend. Anyway, um, Gordon sells the show. Sensei Seth, I was just watching your video with the sensei friend and saw you hitting the bag. Dang, I was impressed. Thank you. Um, Again, just how it is though. Hitting bags don't hit back. I've fought before and I've trained a lot, but I'm definitely I kind of I do my specialty and I let Sensei Majid do his thing. So looking back, let me see if I missed any really good questions. I'm an old fighter struggling with dealing with big size differentials in the stand-up clinch. Any tips? So you're an old fighter struggling with dealing with big size differentials in the stand-up clinch. Well, man, that's a video right there. So HFix, when you get in a clinch with big dudes, you got to be careful if you're going over under with a really big guy. You got to sag your weight down. You're going to have to because a big guy can use his strength against you. So you got to sag. I personally don't like to stay in those positions with really big dudes. I would rather you get your elbows in and get into inside tie formation, collar tie, inside tie, something where you can kind of keep his strength back. That way he can't use it. I mean, it's fine to tie up with a big guy, but it's not good to tie up with a big guy and get too close. You need to make sure that your elbows are in and again, I prefer inside, which is an advantage if you're smaller. If you're smaller, it's an advantage to be able to go to the inside with your hands. You should be able to. The bigger guys struggle with little guys when little guys keep their elbows in and they stay in good position. If you do that, they won't be able to, control you and swing you around and pick you up and all that. And then, using your smaller size stature, then you can kind of like wear them out. I like to pull on the neck a lot, hang on the neck, movement, move your footwork. It's kind of similar to striking. You don't want to get into the toe-to-toe battle. You want to kind of move. You want to move around. You want to make them move. Because if you're smaller than them, if you're in good shape, I know you're older, but if you're in good shape, then when they move, typically a bigger guy uses more energy to move his body. So you want to make the big man move and you want to move so that, the energy meter, as yours is going down, his is going down more. And then that way, even though he's got a bigger size than you, by the time you get to here and the energy levels are different, even though the size level is different, that can kind of equal out, and then you can get your takedown or get your win from there. So Noe Avila, never seen a technical fall, 15-point spread in D1. Yeah, no, that happens all the time. If you haven't seen it, I mean, just watch some Spencer Lee. Right now he's pinning everybody. Watch some Austin DeSanto, watch some Spencer Lee. No, it happens all the time. So, all right, Noe thinks his barbecue baby back ribs are better than mine. Well, it's okay. You can think that. I doubt it. So, is there any counters, Kevin wants to know, to the 100% sweep when the guy has closed guard? Yeah, that's a tough one. If the guy has closed guard, you do not want to be in that sucker. But if you are going to get in it, you got to learn how to circle. I think I showed it on a video. If you reference Let me think real quick. You reference Darian Caldwell, AJ McKee. I have a video where McKee catches Caldwell in the guard with 100%, taps him out, shoulder lock. Check that video. That was close guard. I talk a little bit about the angles. You got to circle in towards the 100%. As you circle in towards, I then retreat back and to the left or back and to the right, depending on what side your head's on. So check that video out. Reference that. That's pretty much all you can do once you're already in it, other than trying to just twist and give up the mount or give your back. So, all right, let me move on down. Move on to the next. Yeah, Ron. I'm all right, guys. You guys commenting so much, it's hard for me to catch up. Let me see. Hey, Coach, the lab. Can I stay with you for next week? I don't know what you mean. Alex Sergev, would you recommend any kind of running for bad knees? I have bad knees, but want to start running again. It really depends on what you're doing, like how bad your knees are, Alex. My knees are bad, but I can run. So that's what's weird about my knees. I can still run, not that I run regularly, but as long I can't sprint, but I can run. So I can jog, let's call it jog. That's what I can do. I can jog, maybe run light, and I'm okay. So it really just depends on your situation. You're going to have to test it out, go slow, take it easy. So let me see. Some Brazilians seem to think that respect is a one-way street. Galvão acting like a drunk guy who just wants to talk after getting smacked. Yeah, what can I say? Can't agree more than you, CJ. So, yeah, Ron's hobbies. What's up, brother? He's like, yep, you're asking for it. Hey, coach, what is a good black belt in jiu-jitsu if you get slapped like that? I mean, you shouldn't be like getting in that kind of shit, really. I mean, like, first, just have respect in the beginning. It seems like Galvão, I got to be honest, seems like he's commanding respect, but he didn't start out by giving respect. Now, maybe he's, paying him back from earlier when maybe Gordon wasn't respecting him. But, like I said, when Craig Jones's match was over, I think Galvão should have showed some respect, shaking his hand, but he might have been a little sour from the loss. So let's see. What do you think of John Danaher's new wave jiu-jitsu philosophy? Escaping positions straight into submissions. Would this have any crossover to MMA or self-defense? Yeah, I'd like to talk about that. I heard, I didn't watch the whole video, but I listened to like a few minutes, and I found it funny. And I'm just gonna say, you guys know me. I'll tell you exactly what I think. I'm a straight shooter. And it's not like I hate Danaher, but this is all marketing, guys. This is marketing bullshit. It's so silly. So what do I think of John Danaher's quote, new wave jiu-jitsu philosophy, escaping positions straight into submissions? It's all marketing. This is so silly. Like, are you really trying to say that the old jiu-jitsu philosophy wasn't that? That's all bullshit. Like, it's great what he's saying, but it's not new wave. It's not new at all. I mean, like, it's just a way for him to say, hey, look, here's what we try to do. We don't just try to pass the guard. We try to pass the guard and submit the guy. We don't just sweep the guy. We try to sweep him into a better position so we can get a submission. we don't just take the guy down. We take the guy down and then we pass the guard into a submission or go straight to a submission off the takedown. Guys, look, it's always been advised. Who didn't advise it? When you're teaching a beginner, you don't teach a beginner and say, all right, here's how I do A to B to C to D to E. Because it's hard enough for a beginner to just learn A. So you teach them pieces of the puzzle. You don't teach the game of chess and go, here's how I go from moving my center pawn and I go straight into checkmate. You don't teach beginners that. You teach them positional strategy. You teach them how to form a good opening position. You try to teach them the end game. You try to teach them the middle game. You teach them about basic attacks, double attacks, skewers, pins, all of these things. You teach them how to attack the defender. You teach, all these things. These you cannot just teach the whole thing all at once, but it sounds beautiful when you go, I've got a new philosophy. And that's where I'm like, that's bullshit. Look, any good guy tries to tie everything together. Any good chess player will checkmate you if you give him an opportunity, whether it's the first 5 moves of the game or if it's 20 moves down the line. It doesn't matter. We're always looking for attacks. That is the end goal. When you know what you're doing, we don't just escape side control and replace guard, but that's what we teach a beginner because it's a way to structure the game. But eventually, we all try to go from an escape from side control as we replace guard, we go straight into a triangle or whatever. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I think it's a great idea what Danaher's saying. I just don't think it's new. And now maybe I'm missing a point. I got to say that because I didn't listen to everything he said, but I just wanted to say that. That's all I wanted to say. So either way, what he's saying is correct, but it's something I want to do at all times. If you guys talk to my buddy Majid when it comes to striking, we're looking for it at all times. We're always wanting to finish a guy if given the opportunity. There you go. Galval didn't do nothing. Would you recommend? Okay, no. Let's see. All right, let me try to scroll down without missing you guys. If you're gonna shove someone, you better back it up. Yeah. Coach, people say you can easily choke Khabib. Is it true? I don't know who says that. No, it's not true. Nobody is going to easily choke Khabib unless they are way big. Like Gordon Ryan, yeah, he could easily choke Khabib. But no, I am not easily choking Khabib. He's obviously very, very good. Do I believe I could catch him? Yeah, I believe I could. But again, it's my game. It's something, I mean, he's really good too, but we're also I'm not talking about fighting him in MMA. I'm talking about, getting on his back and trying to finish a rear naked. I do believe I could do that if I was on his back. So I am no way saying that I would beat Khabib. I'm definitely getting way too old. But yes, in my prime, I definitely feel I would. And I probably still could even today, given the perfect circumstance. But I also have belief in myself. What do you think Khabib would say? Do you think he would say, oh, yeah, I don't think I can beat this guy. Yeah, Gaethje, he's too good. Yeah, Poirier, no way, I can't beat him. Conor, he's really hard. We all, guys, I'm not the toughest dude in the world. But remember, I was a fighter and I'm a competitor. I believe in myself. Simple as that. And that's how fighters are forged. We're trained to think this way. So it's nothing wrong or bad if someone believes they can beat me or anyone else or Khabib or people. I hate it when people talk shit on Poirier or Conor and they'll go, oh, he's so full of shit thinking he can beat Khabib. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that fighters are like you? Scared? Well, maybe under Gaval. That's it. I'm just joking. But you guys get what I mean? Like fighters, we're not afraid. we might be nervous about fighting or whatever. Like everybody gets that. But when it comes down to it, we believe in our skills. And that's what makes a fighter. That's why I can't stand when people poke fun at someone who loses. Like, oh, Conor lost to Poirier, he got calf kicked. And it's like, come on, guys, he's a fucking fighter. Like he lost. He got kicked. I mean, like, you go in there and you take those fucking calf kicks. You go there, you take the shots. You get choked. You get neck cranked by Habib when he's on your back. People talking shit on Conor, saying, "Oh, he gave up." All right, let's put Habib Nurmagomedov on your back, and then with all of his strength and power that he possesses, have him wrap his arm around your neck and lock his hands. See if you won't tap. Oh, he gave up. All this shit, poking fun, talking about it like armchair quarterbacks. And people think I'm doing that. Like, I'm breaking down techniques on my videos. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody like that. But I want you guys to know fighters believe in themselves. So of course these guys think they can win. And same with me. Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna go out there and take down Gordon Ryan and tap him out. No. But if you're asking me, is it possible that I could like roll on the mat, not MMA, but I could roll with a Habib and catch him? Yeah, of course it's possible. Of course that's possible. Is it possible he catch me? Hell yeah. Shit, he just got to pull on my ankle and my knee will pop. So hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm in no way trying to be disrespectful, and I'm in no way trying to be arrogant either. This is just the way it is, and there's nothing wrong with it. So, all right, enough said. Galvao had downed a bottle of wine, couldn't sleep the night prior. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear that he was drunk. I'm just saying he kind of looked like he could have been. Oh, yeah. Foul fortune. So, you said you can direct message me on Instagram a clip of Gordon Ryan talking about why he uses the cross grips. Yeah, somebody said that on the video that I posted last night. And when you guys have this kind of grip on the wrist, it's keeping your elbows in to push. You have a better time pushing than when you pronate your elbows outward. Instead, you're like this. So you have a little more strength because your elbow's close to your body. But I will say, yeah, that's great and all, but it didn't work. I mean, like Jimenez, simple lock of his hands, even with Gordon being bigger, maybe he's got some cool shit. I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it total shit, but I'm saying it didn't work there. So, I mean, and I'm pretty experienced. I'm familiar with that kind of grip. That's why I mentioned maybe he can push it and create some type of, angle. So, but it's yet to be seen by me. So anyway, still thought he did great. I thought he did amazing. I just feel that the finish was a little sloppy, but I think he's reaching a little too much theory, not enough practice, making it practical. But either way, he finished. So, do I have any Canadian projects? No, I do not. So Enoch, if you want to bring me out to Canada, you're gonna have to pay for my plane ticket and my stay. So, anyway, hey coach, can you come do a seminar at Rounders again? Skeptic. Yeah, I'd love to. Just if you can, get a hold of Bao. Get a hold of Bao and then let him know. Let him know you want me to come back out. And I'd love to do it again. It's not too far of a drive. I'd love to come down to Rounders. I mean, Bao's a great friend and he's an awesome dude. So I'll come out with no problem at all. I think the knee pinch single is awful. The knee pinch single. I don't know what you mean by the knee pinch single. I don't know if you mean single leg and pinch your knees together around the ankle or around the lower leg. I don't know if that's what you mean, but underhook one side, kill the hips with yours on the other side, run that way, put their feet in their own face. Yeah, that sounds good. doubling down on this correction. Okay, do you think Chan, if he wants to go for takedowns, he should try to take the back of Izzy and drop down with his weight instead of going for standard wrestling takedowns? I'm sorry, Common. I don't have a good opinion on it. I got to catch up. I'm going to have to play catch up and study a little bit more. I've been out of it. I've been real busy, so I haven't been watching a lot lately. I'm sorry. I feel embarrassed to even say that. How would Gordon do in the UFC right now at heavyweight? Do you think he can hold his own against Ngannou, Stipe, or Jones? No. I think I don't know exactly. I know he's probably working on it, but guys, he has decent wrestling takedowns, and I'm sure his stand-up is okay. I mean, he threw a nice slap, but Ngannou, Stipe, Jones, they're a whole nother animal. I don't think you should ever even try to put Gordon against those guys. He needs to start at the bottom, work his way up, try to get better. Can he submit all those guys? Yeah. He could submit them if he got them on the ground, but he also could get the shit knocked out of him by Ngannou, one punch, and it's over. So, D-Mills, best martial arts channel on YouTube, coach. Don't tell Sensei Seth. No, it's all good. No, Sensei Seth is great, man. He's great. Obviously, Icy Mike is cool too. Varun, Jits boy. What do you think about Danaher's concept of directly going for an attack from an inferior position instead of coming back to the guard, like going for Ashigarami when you're being mounted? Always. I already talked about that, Varun. I know you. Hopefully, you were hearing it. It's at the beginning, or earlier. Always we go for a leg lock or we go to an attack instead of guard. That's why I found that funny that, it's not like guard is the only thing we do. We just teach that to beginners. And then eventually you reach a level where you always try to attack. So a good example, let me state an example. Do you guys remember when Eddie Bravo went with Royler Gracie back in 2003? Do you remember when Royler passed Eddie's guard and then Eddie put on jailbreak? So when he put the jailbreak leg in, which is kind of like a butterfly hook, but he's in side control. So when he puts his flexible little jailbreak hook in and he pulls himself back to guard, he didn't pull himself back to butterfly guard and then sit there and hold. He pulled himself back to butterfly guard, immediately getting the overhook, immediately getting the wrist, immediately making angle with his hips and space to take his feet out to climb up for the triangle, for what he calls the pyramid. That's what every good guy does. We always try to look for the finish from wherever we are. So whether that be an Ashigarami or a guard replacement right into a sub. So anyway, it's chess. Hey, coach, I was wondering that when it comes to various chokes, how long is too long? When do you get to a point where it leads to permanent damage? That's a good question. And I've always said this. We don't truly know. We have been told things like 1 minute is really bad, like serious brain damage. We were told this years ago. There is a story that I always refer to, and I could remember. Stories get changed, so you might have to look this one up. There was a kid that choked out his uncle. I've told this story before. I believe the kid was 16, 17 years old. He was wrestling with his uncle, which was like 27 years old, in the living room, something like that. And, they're probably pro wrestling fans, and they're wrestling around, and then the kid gets the uncle in a choke, and he chokes the uncle out and kills him. So what I heard reported was the kid had the choke for about 45 seconds. Now, if what I'm saying is true, which I don't even know that it's true, because it's all hearsay. Like I'm just what was told to me and what I read, and I could even be getting it wrong. So if that's true, then that was the first time we saw a real world experiment. Now, we don't know the health of the individual. We don't know what kind of choke it was. We don't know if he like damaged his Adam's apple at the same time, his trachea at the same time that he also put him unconscious through blood. I mean, I don't know, but typically you choke a guy out with a blood choke, he falls asleep, he wakes back up. I know that there's strokes and there's all this damage that people talk about. I've choked people out for I don't want to say me. I've seen people get choked out for 10 seconds nonstop. They're still unconscious. They're still getting choked. And yeah, maybe they don't wake up right away, but they all have woken up. So that's all I have for you. 10 seconds. That's probably the longest one I've seen, except for watching somebody kill someone. Like I've seen some videos, some horror videos of guys, killing people and they choke, just bad stuff you probably don't even want to watch. But unless you're sadistic like that. But what I'm getting at is if this is our only data that we have, 45 seconds killed someone. 45 seconds is bad. That means 45 seconds is super dangerous. I'm telling you, 5 seconds, 10. There's no need to take it over 5, but the moment he goes out, if you hold it for an extra 3 to 4 to 5 seconds, I've seen it happen so many times I can't even count. They all wake up. They've been okay. Usually. So I mean, they're okay. So we've got now this in between. So 45 has killed someone. Maybe does 45 always kill people? I don't know. I've never done that. I'm not a killer, 30 seconds. Could 30 seconds kill someone? Probably somebody. Who's going to test this stuff? Who's going to try to put this under a blind how do they say blind placebo? Double blind placebo, like some kind of case study. So how are we gonna figure this out? It's tough to know the answer to that. Anyway, so permanent damage. Guys, once you choke somebody out, let them go. Like I always tell you this: if you're on the street and you're trying to protect your life, I have no problem choking a guy for extra 5 seconds. If a guy broke into my house, I may choke him for an extra 10. I'm going to make sure that guy's out before I let off of him because I want him to be sleeping so that I can get up and take care of business, whatever I got to do. So that's all I got about that on that. So if you don't rubber guard, are you just going to get wrecked by grapplers who do? Thanks for the time, Coach. You don't have to do the rubber guard to deal with it, but it certainly helps that you train with people that rubber guard occasionally because it's good to be familiar. So that's what I would recommend. No, you don't have to do it yourself. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu that you get through feel over time. And I'm not saying I'm the rubber guard defender of the universe, but I can deal a lot with it. I'm not saying that I'd be able to deal with Eddie Bravo's because he's got obviously some of the most highest level knowledge in that field and a whole lot more than I have. But generally I can defend myself because I understand principles and, the relationship between two bodies, where your body parts should be, how to connect yourself to their body in order to avoid certain things. It's like a chess. I always bring up chess. It's like a chess sense you develop. When good chess players play, they can almost feel the move instead of not just analyzing with their mind and going through the variations and moving the pieces, but they also feel. They literally, if you just gave them 1 second to make a decision, a really good grandmaster can make a decision in a second. And is it the best decision? No, but the better they are, they feel where they should be. And that sense that you have will save your ass a lot of times if your sense is developed well to a good degree. So, oh man, I lost my spot. A lot of you guys. I'm sorry. Let me get to these super chats. Coach, what is a solid blue belt to you? Okay, Ricardo wants to know, what's a solid blue belt to me? I'm gonna say it. I don't mean to shit on anybody, but I'm gonna say it. A solid blue belt to me is not what I see in the typical blue belts of most schools. So the typical blue belts at most schools, although some of them are very good, I don't think that most of them are a blue belt, in my opinion. That's because a solid blue belt to me knows takedowns. A solid blue belt to me knows striking. A solid blue belt to me should be able to fight in an MMA fight at an amateur event, and he should feel comfortable enough, like at least like the Gracies used to look when they would do their little open challenges at their gym, at their school. They knew how to get in and take someone down and then finish them. You don't have to know the Barata Plata. You don't have to know the crazy variations of the Berimbolo. But that's what we're getting nowadays. We're getting blue belts that can look really good, with Kiss of the Dragon from their inverted De La Hiva. But they cannot take down an opponent who is swinging wildly, throwing punches at them. And that is a problem to me. I think that jiu-jitsu's roots are, it's a martial art, it's a self-defense system, and we have to know how to do that. And I think that jiu-jitsu, the sport, has definitely taken hold, and it's a fun game. It's a very fun game to play. And so I would want a blue belt, a solid blue belt, to be able to basically strike, basically take people down. Not saying you got to take down college wrestlers, but you know what? You should be able to hold your own on a very, if my blue belt, even though they're an adult, if they go with it with an average high school varsity wrestler, my blue belt should be able to take them down. My solid blue belt should be able to take down an average varsity high school wrestler. That's what I feel. And I know that to some people they think that's extreme, but when I say average varsity wrestler, you gotta understand what average is. Average really isn't that good. I have a lot of good wrestlers at my school, high school kids, and they're not average. They're above average. And sure, some of my adults can take them down, but very few. And they're solid. So but if you can understand what I mean by average varsity wrestler, an average varsity wrestler can take down the average human being without a problem. But my blue belts, my solid blue belts, they can take them down or at least match it. So hope that makes sense. And then obviously you got to be able to do the basics from the top, from the bottom. You can't be a guard puller straight up. It's okay to pull guard, but you have to be able to do the other stuff as well. You can't just be one-sided and you're like, yeah, but I tap purple belts sometimes. Yeah, but I roll with black belts and they tell me that, I'm hard to tap out. My defense is good. Or, you know what I mean? Like that's not it. I think you need more so than just not being tapped out, or although that's good, or your guard's pretty good, you're hard to pass. It's not just that. Like what happens if we start throwing punches. What happens if you were in a combat jiu-jitsu event? Does your blue belt go to shit, or can you scrap? And to me, a blue belt is a basic guy who can scrap with his grappling. And that's what I look for. That's what I want. Hope that makes sense, Ricardo. Let me skip ahead because let me get to these other people that donated. Neri Giron, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Your advice to use instructional DVDs the best way. You know what? That's a good question. The best way, the way I would want you to use an instructional is to actually get in the gym on the mats with your partner and you play the technique. Don't watch the whole thing. Like don't go through the whole thing and then try to remember everything. You should watch the instructional and pause it. The moment that you get anything that you may not understand, or if it's new to you in any way, slightly unsure, you think it's cool, whatever they're showing you on this instructional, you pause it and you practice with your partner right then and there, and you do it over and over and over, several times, 5, 10 times. Do it. Then play the video a little bit longer, go to the next step. Try to then go from step 1 to step 2. Then go back, watch it again, get to number 3. Now you go back, you go 1, 2, 3. Then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you keep going through it until you can get all the steps of the technique. And for some of you guys, you don't have to go through the steps because you understand it basically. And then you pick out the most important thing that is new to you in order to make it work. And then you work on that. Let's say it was a triangle choke. So you found like a new way to grip the arm or the head or angle or something like that. Then you can focus on that detail. But if you've never done a triangle, you probably need to like start at the beginning and do the first step, then the second step, third step, and string them all together. And do it right there on the mat. Don't just watch it at home and then go to the gym and try to duplicate it. Like it's good to have it right there in front of you. It's good there to have a buddy who's checking your work. It's kind of like when in school when he's correcting you on your answers. So you give the answers and it's like flashcards. You know, you come up with this idea or this move, and then he tells you, yeah, that's how he did it. Or no, that's not how he did it. I think he had his hand over here. Oh, maybe we need to look again. And then you go look at the video again and you find out that the grip was somewhere different. So that's what I would recommend, Neri. Oh my goodness. Feeling the heavy eyelids. I'm gonna go another 10 minutes, guys. So there's a lot of questions. I'm sorry, I'm totally lost because I scrolled down. There's a lot of questions. I'm just gonna kind of randomly get in here. So Vincenzo, doesn't catch wrestling always go for submissions in any position? Yeah. I mean, like, that's one of the things that catch wrestling always talked about, like in the old days, was catch wrestling was like, we just go after submissions, like, and that was actually an argument jiu-jitsu guys would use against catch wrestling, that we were more, if you did jiu-jitsu, you were more positional, position before submission. And then catch was like this idea that submission, just go out and get submissions. And, I could point to examples where, when I was coaching Felicia O back in the day in 2007 in Abu Dhabi, in the semifinal, she was going against Megumi Fuji. Now, in the opposite corner was Josh Barnett. And Josh Barnett, as you guys know, is a catch wrestler. And so is Megumi Fuji. So she's representing Catch as Catch Can, one of the greatest female MMA fighters of all time. Definitely in that day, I don't think it could be argued she was the best at that time, for sure. So all I'll say is She was actually beating Felicia, and she kind of has a more hard style. Felicia's more jujitsu flowy, and Megumi was more wrestler, tough, strong, domination. And she was doing great. But then what did she do? She went for like a toe hold, to my memory. She turned for a leg lock, and a toe hold out of position, turned her back to go for the toe hold, going for this high flying submission. Well, look what she did. She gave up position to do it. And where it led to was Felicia getting her back. If you guys have ever seen in my gym, I have these murals up on the wall, and one of the murals is Felicia O choking out Megumi Fuji with a rear naked choke. It's on the left side of my gym. It's got to be in several videos. You can see it up on the wall, and you guys can also watch that match on YouTube, and actually see the freeze frame of that mural, of where we got that picture from. So that is a thing, going for submissions in any position, and it's also can be a big mistake. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. We do have to teach positional understanding, whether you're doing catch or jujitsu. But anytime you can get to a submission, that's the whole chess game. You don't just run at your opponent and throw submissions and go for checkmates. You do have to have things set up properly so that your position doesn't fall apart if you go for said submission. If you go for a submission and your position gets destroyed, then you're only going to beat those guys that fall into your submission. A good player is going to avoid your move, and then you're going to be left up Shit's Creek without a paddle, as they say. And hope that makes sense. So let me see. Who is? Let me see. I'm trying to. Dear Coach, I've been thinking for a while, how could you defend against a guy who runs to you trying to take you down like a quarterback? How can you defend? Well, if a guy runs from a distance, you just move. Like, you sidestep like a quarterback. You don't just stay there. So that's one thing. You definitely want to not stay in one place and let a guy tackle you. You just move sideways, move laterally, and all that energy is lost. And then if he grabs you, you use your tie-ups and your control to fend him off. So depending on how he's trying to tackle. So let's see. We've got Ron's Hobbies. What's up, Ron? Thank you so much for the $5. Coach, can you have drop-ins? I'll be passing through in early April and would like to drop in again. Of course, brother. You're always welcome. You can always do a drop-in. Drop-ins at my school, guys, just so everybody knows, it's only $20 if you want. There's no commitment. You just show up, drop $20, and we have hour-and-a-half classes. We just started a dummy MMA class. It's called the MMA dummy class, where it's kind of like a cardio kickboxing, but for MMA, we teach punching, kicking, throws, ground and pound, takedowns up against the wall, submissions, arm bars, triangles, omoplatas, kimuras, Americanas, guillotines, rear naked chokes. We're doing all those things in these classes and getting you a great sweat. And it's only a 45-minute class. We just started it this week. So anyway, just thought I'd mention that class. But our other classes are always an hour and a half. We do have kickboxing with world champion Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham. So If you guys are ever in town, you guys want to train with an undefeated world champion kickboxer, you guys could do that and then also train with me in the same day. So, anyway, I'm getting tired, you guys. I'm sorry, but been a long day, and I'm always working so hard. Let's see. Oh, okay. Portion control, blue belt, a supporter. The uncle's eyes were open, but he was out because his eyes were open. The team didn't let go. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I did a video a long time ago. I don't remember where it is or which one it is, where I talked about this. When a guy gets choked out and his eyes are open, I was saying like maybe people thought it was okay, like he was all right. So he didn't go completely limp, maybe they thought, or maybe he was moving, or maybe thought he was faking. So yeah, something like that. A guy could keep holding, you know. I don't know if I got my details correct. Portion control, what I remember being 45 seconds. But yeah, if his eyes were open on that chokeout, man, it's kind of sad, right? The dude's out and the kid's not letting go, and maybe people are there and they're not like letting him know because they don't know what they're looking at. Nobody there is really experienced in this kind of subject. And man, killed his own uncle. It's terrible. What a tragedy. So, anyway, so guys, it's getting late. I told you I'm gonna go full hour. I started at 10:45. I got 3 minutes. So I'm gonna try to run these off as quick as I can. I love the triangle from side you did in that video. That was so cool. See, I gotta practice it. Okay. Usually the smaller guys I can handle playing my open guard game. Against the big guys, I just get smashed right off the guard pole. I don't know. Don't pull guard. Oh, somebody was probably asking questions. I'll bet some of our other people in the chat are like helping them out. I like setting up my lasso spider De La Hiva type guard, but the big guys just knee cut, smash me before I can set it up. Yeah, that's go with really big dudes, man. If they know how to hit a knee cut and turn their knees, they know how to. If you try to De La Hiva, they'll point their knee out, and it makes it hard for you to lock in that kind of De La Hiva hook. And if they start smashing with a good pressure, what you could use is like Gordon Ryan. He used off the half guard against Roberto Jimenez. He used the grip on the ankle. It's like inverted De La Hiva. And as long as you grip that ankle, if you guys study that match on how he gripped the ankle, it's not new, by the way. Something every good black belt knows about half guard. You can really stop the guy from knee cutting you just by controlling his ankle. And that's something Gordon was doing. So you guys can watch that and you'll see Jimenez is frustrated and he actually kind of rushes forward, which kind of ends up in sort of like a kiss of the dragon, which led towards, even though he tried to counter the kiss of the dragon, it led towards sort of like a leg ashigarami and led to Gordon getting back on top. It was after the first armbar attempt. So you guys should check that out and you'll get a little info, Danny, on defending the knee cut. So let me get to the next one. You're the best, coach. Thanks for all the things you do. Greetings from Mexico. Thank you, Shadow Bass 98. Really appreciate it. Viva Mexico. Soy güero, pero la voy a mexicanos. Hey, Coach Brian, saw you were live streaming. Just wanted to say hi. Caught up with the upper bell with a little ankle lock you showed from the inside the body lock. So thanks for that. Cool. All right, Seed. Greetings from France. All right, guys, I'm looking for one more question so I can try to answer a question. Thank you guys so much. Basics. Survive as a wife. Are you buying the dip, Coach? Yes, Trong. I assume you're talking about the market volatility we've been experiencing over the last couple weeks. It's been brutal for a lot of people. I sold out all of my tech positions and all of that sector, the growth tech sector. I basically cut out of everything to cut losses, and I'm only in one, which I am patiently waiting for. But other than that, I am out and I am only day trading now, basically small scalps, because the market is very volatile and I don't like it like that. So I am not going to be investing in anything right now other than scalping. So in and out, 5-10 seconds. Um, our blue belts have to have either a strong top game or strong bottom game. Basic self-defense skills, demonstrate everything on a basic syllabus. That's good, JP. I'm watching Marcelo Garcia's complete guillotine choke and Craig Jones' submission dilemmas, which is a subject I feel isn't talked about enough. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know those videos, but definitely the guillotine and then Craig Jones' submission dilemmas. That sounds interesting. Sounds like a good little series to do. Just talk about problems with submissions. So, all right, guys. I'm just about out of time. I do need to get some sleep. 1 a.m. will be here shortly. Hey, Coach, you ever buy yourself a little silver? No, I'm not buying silver. Who do you believe is the GOAT? Okay, um, I'll answer that. Who do I believe is the greatest of all time? Hmm. You guys probably wouldn't even like who I pick. The greatest of all time? Honestly, I would have to pick. I want to pick Mighty Mouse. There's other good guys. I really like Mighty Mouse. I like Habib. I like Connor. I don't know, guys. It goes on and on. John Jones, obviously really good, but his character's kind of shit. So, GSP, great. So many good fighters. Anyway, the reason why I like Mighty Mouse, even though he lost, is Mighty Mouse was such a amazing fighter in so many different ways. And I feel like Mighty Mouse was a guy that could just win in any way. And I really like that about him. But there's a lot of guys that are really good. So Izzy, yeah. Adesanya is pretty amazing. There's a lot of guys that are really good, actually. And I just got to keep thinking about them. And then eventually you guys bring it up, and I'm going to be like, that guy's good too. And I don't ride the jock of any one fighter too much. I'm not like that. It's just not my personality. I've never been like that. I respect all the fighters, and I I think they're all great, and I try to be positive, and I just don't like to put people up on pedestals like that. But anyway, yeah, they're all great. Everybody's yelling GSP, Habib. Yeah, there's so many good guys. So sorry, I gotta go. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. It's getting late. Love you guys. I'm gonna just keep putting out videos. We got some ideas from you the other day. So with all your ideas, you guys are gonna keep me busy for a long time. There's always stuff to go over. Tonight, I wish there was camera just filming what I was teaching tonight, because I taught so many amazing. I'm just now I know I'm sound arrogant calling what I was teaching amazing, but what I mean is, after I got done teaching it to my guys, even my white belts, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody on the channel needs this. Like, this needs to be filmed. And I didn't catch it on film. And this seems to happen every single day. There's something I'm showing. So eventually, I need to get a guy just filming every class, every little thing of in the gym when people ask questions. Because there's stuff that pops up, and then I realize you guys could benefit. So anyway, I thought tonight would have been a great night to film, but we didn't get it filmed. So I got the ideas in my head. We'll be back next time, guys, and I'll try to help you get better and bring you guys more great stuff. All right. Have a good night. Thank you. Appreciate you. Good night.